How are you guys doing today? Nick here with McGaughys Suspension. So I've got a 2025 Duramax 2500 Denali Ultimate sitting here, and this is running our 4-inch McGaughys lift kit. So this is one that I've been wanting to show off for quite a bit because we do get a lot of people asking about this setup and how to make it fit and or does it fit and how. So we're going to go over that today with this truck specifically, so then you can try to replicate this for yourself, whether you're near us or out of state somewhere. So again, like I said, it is a 2025 2500 HD Denali Ultimate, and it is running our 4-inch kit. How we measure 4 inches is the fender lip to the center hub. We want to measure at 28 inches. And the reason why 28 inches is significant is because these trucks start off the showroom floor at 24 inches. So you add 4 inches to 24 and you get 28. Now I will tell you, this is a GMC. The Chevys, on the other hand, have an arched, this section right here is arched. So you're gonna gain 3/8 of an inch on that measurement there. So a Chevy trying to do the exact same thing would be sitting at 28 3/8 of an inch ride height. Okay, now that we got that under, stated and everything, let's look at underneath this truck, these working angles, because this is the stuff that we're proud about. And what we like to really tell everyone is that, yes, there's guys that are running leveling kits with 37s underneath it, but those working angles right there are not what you're going to see in a leveling kit. Look at how flat the CV and the tie rod angles are, let alone the ball joint angles. All of that is perfectly flat, like this truck came off the showroom floor. A leveling kit would be a lot more aggressive working angle. And the difference is that when you have aggressive working angles, one, you put a lot more wear and tear on your center link right there where the tie rod goes to the center link. You're going to get more abrupt abuse to that center link, and it's going to walk it up and down, twisting motion, which is going to put more wear and tear on the idler and pivot arm, the joint right there. Also with the angle is that you're going to notice a ride quality discredit, because when the suspension is drooped down at more of an angle, that means you have less droop travel, which we talk about droop travel. And right there you can see this is 4 inches, and it has a factory upper control arm, and you have space in between the control arm and the frame stop. Now, there is companies out there that have different formulas with upper control arms to gain you travel, which we have our upper control arm as well, but we like to state our leveling kit to be only 2.5 inches. We don't want to see people completely stretch it out. We have another video showing a stretched out, our upper control arm leveling kit stretched out on 37s next to a 4-inch kit just like this on 37s, and you can go over and watch that video and see the pros and cons of that setup. But let's talk about this truck today. Being 4 inches, upper control arm, as you can see there, are M84 series shocks that are proprietary to us. We valve them and spec them out for these trucks, whether you have a 2500 or you have a 3500 truck. And yes, this truck is sitting on the factory Denali 20-inch wheels. Now, right now, I don't remember the spec of that wheel, but if you go down into the description of this video, I will put down the factory OEM measurements for that wheel. And the way that we made this work, the owner made this work, is he ran a 0.65 wheel spacer. And so what that does is it brings the wheel and tire out, pokes it out, and that poke lines up the wheel and tire really nice and flush to the side of the fender. And it also gets that 37 away from the inside of the suspension. So there's times where guys are leveled out or have a 4-inch kit like this, and the 37 rubs on the sway bar, and it also rubs on the frame back there. So you're not seeing any rubbing with this current setup that this gentleman has on his truck, because he ran the Scoval Motorsports 0.65 wheel spacer. Now, when you do a wheel spacer, yes, you lose a little bit of threads because the spacer is taking up some thread length when you put the wheel back on. So Scoval Motorsports also sells these black lug nuts, which are an ET style lug nut, extended length lug nut, which the actual shank of the lug nut goes into the wheel hole and grabs more of the thread, because again, these wheels are hub centric. Again, the wheel spacer is hub centric as well. So that allows the lug nut to go a little bit deeper into the wheel to make up for that extra thickness of the wheel spacer, so you still have plenty of thread to capture the wheel correctly on the studs. This tire is a 37 1350 Toyo Mud-Terrain. Yeah, 1350. And this truck sitting at 4 inches has a very minor trim modification done to it. This is what we would call slightly modified. And you start with the inside. Let's go over to this other side here because the wheel is turned out. You'll be able to see it a little bit better. But so how this starts off, this modification, is that 1A, these two bracket mounts, there's a bracket back there that's real thin, and all you literally have to do is, when the tire's off, you just have to use a rubber mallet or whatever, or your hand, and you can basically push this bracket forward. There's a little bit of space behind it, and it slightly bends and moves the inside felt of the wheel well. It flares it forward, which will give you a little bit of space, and then you basically take a cutting knife, like a box knife, and you cut from the inside, and you start going out about 1.5 inches down from those mounting holes, and then you just basically cut it across towards the inside of the bumper, and it just looks real nice and clean. It doesn't get all chewed up. And then what is done is, right here, there usually would be a metal bracket that captures this lower valance right about here, and we suggest cutting from the lower part of the valance, again with a box knife, a new one, and slicing up just to the inside of that bracket, that cage nut bracket that's factory. And then you slice past it, and then you just radius up this bumper right here and twist inwards, and it just becomes real nice and clean. And that last bracket is not going to be utilized anymore. The valance still stays on. It still has more brackets further forward, which allows it to stay on and be fine. So that's what's done to the front side of the bumper. No bumper spacer or anything like that. And then on this back side here, he is still running the factory. They call these mud flaps on these trucks. This right here is a factory mud flap. So you can do a mud flap delete, which would basically bring this up a little bit taller and tighter and allow for more tire clearance. Currently right now, this 1350 fits at 4 inches, and he's not experiencing any rubbing, but it is very close at full turn, right in that area there. The outside of the tire, the edge is very close to the inside there. So it does work, but if he hit anything substantial, he would get a little bit of rubbing. So he is soon, he is lining up a painter to do all his paint match stuff. So at the time that he does that, he's going to get the mud flap deletes and get everything painted so it's all nice and neat and everything. We've already discussed that, but I just wanted to let you guys know he's able to drive on it, but he is going to do the mud flap delete. So I would highly suggest doing the mud flap delete, and then also doing the front bumper modification too as well. And then you'd be able to set your truck up just like this. Again, 37 1350 Toyo Mud-Terrains, factory 20-inch wheel with a 0.65 wheel spacer to get it outwards just perfect, to where you can see there, just really nice. They're not going to be sticking out so heavy to where it's going to be flinging a bunch of stuff up on the side of your truck. So if that's what you're after, this is the look. Now I understand a lot of people have, tires and wheels are the final look that people are after with their personalization of the truck. So this is just one, option. We've got other videos with a couple other options, whether they're wide wheels or, poke out just a little bit. So if you want them to be nice and flush and set up like this and use your factory wheels, this is the setup right here. Let's go over to the back of the truck. Let's go on the other side because the sun's on that side and it looks a lot better. So over on the other side of the truck, let's get that stance. So right there, obviously we're at an angle. So in the back, he is running our 1.75" block that comes in the kit. No shims, okay? With that measurement set up, we measure off the pinch weld right here. I want to be clear on this because I want people to know that measuring your wheel space there or off the ground to the wheel well in the back and measuring off the ground and to the wheel well up front, these wheel wells are cut at different heights, so those are not going to be the same. So it's really hard to really, figure out the stance front to back based off the wheel wells. I suggest that you go off of the pinch weld right here, this edge at the bottom of the body. So we measured that rear, and we measured right here on the front, and between the front and the rear, this truck has just under 5/8 of an inch rake to it. Rake meaning that it's taller in the rear than the front. Okay, hey Nick, I want a little bit more rake to my truck because of whatever reason. Aesthetically, I tow, I don't want it to sag, all the above. No problem. Our kit comes with the rear 1.75" block, and it also comes with 2 shims per side to use that are 1/4 inch each. So that will equal a 1/2 inch together. And that would be able to allow you to modify the stance. So if 5/8 of an inch rake is not your flavor, okay, cool. Put another 1/4 inch or 2 1/4 inch shims and raise it up in the rear. Get a little bit more rake to the truck. We give you that allowance to modify the stance of your truck. We are very, very understandable that everyone wants their truck to be a little bit different, personal reasons, and that's why we give you that allowance. And I will tell you that if you look underneath there, you can see the block and the U-bolt kit, and there's no shims in this truck. Now, if you do decide to run the shims do not go on top of the block, as in floating on top of the block. You have on your leaf spring pack this center pin. You take the center pin out. Our kit comes with a new center pin. You put the shim pack, whether you want the 1/4 inch or you want to go 1/2 inch, you put those on the new center pin, and then you slide the center pin back through the leaf spring pack and put the lock nut on top, and now those shims become one with the leaf spring. So they're not just floating on top of the block. Obviously, they will be from the outside looking in underneath the truck. They will look like they are in between the block and the spring pack, which they are, but they're all tied together with the leaf spring pack, making it nice and strong. So that's what we've got on this truck. Also too, I'll have a full breakdown on front to rear specs, the bed height, and all that good stuff down in the description. As always, I always like to include that. I know sometimes it seems redundant, but I understand that owners of these trucks are using them for different reasons, and those specs can help you out. So let's just talk about the first one real quick here. That's most important, is that the measurement, cab clearance, including the shark fin, okay? Cab clearance on this truck is sitting at 85 inches, okay, with this exact setup. So 85 inches is what we're speccing from the ground to that shark fin up on top. That would be your overhead clearance, whether you're going into a garage or overhang of some sort. And like I said, all the rest of the measurements I'll have down in the description of the wheel measurements and all that good stuff. So go back down into the description and you can see all that. If you guys have any questions, feel free to comment. And furthermore, if you want to get more detailed with your questions on one-on-one, you're more than welcome to reach out to me on Instagram or Facebook on the McGaughys page. Just so you know, it's really hard to keep up with comments on YouTube, and YouTube does not have a messaging, direct messaging system. So I always tell people if they want to talk to me one-on-one, get a hold of me on the McGaughys page. Let's look at these real quick here. Again, this is where the money's at right here. These angles, we are not cranked up at all. Also, look at that bolt, the factory bolt right there on top in the frame, and then now the lower bolt. If you notice there, it is directly on top of each other, so that's a direct drop straight down. Our kit is not poking out or widening the track span on this lift kit, so you're not going to get any extra push on the front wheel span. That is exactly 4 inches right there, so everything drops down 4 inches. All the angles are good. You still got plenty of droop travel, got plenty of upstroke, and you're not sacrificing any ride quality at 4 inches. You still have the availability to go up a little bit higher if you want. You can add our upper control arms if you want.
there's a lot of different, you know, options to go along with this. So let me know what you guys think about this truck. And like I said, if you want to reach out, get a hold of me on the McGaughys Instagram or Facebook, or you can just drop a comment down below. I'll do the best that I can. And if you need help finding a dealer, you can message us or contact us at the office, and we'll get you linked up with a McGaughys authorized dealer. Again, this is Nick. Thank you for all the support. Thanks for watching. See you guys on the next truck.